is a ritual for everything. A beginning and an ending to everything. Even though we can never really quite pinpoint the beginning of anything, and, well, an ending never really ends the way an ending should end. On the same note, we're always in the middle of a ritual that we can't quite understand. However, I'm going to clarify things for you, so that you feel like you know exactly where you are, even though I don't really know myself. Over here, this is a scene where scenes take place, where you will see an enactment of scenes, a place to see scenes. And over here is a wall where there's video, and you will see yourself up there sometimes. And everywhere else is where everything that is not a scene and not a video takes place, where you will see excess, where excess spills over. This everywhere else is the excess. You really don't have to pay attention all that much. Just please don't talk during this.
Popcorn?
Check.
Beer?
Check.
Otter Pops?
Si, senor.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, isn't it? It's really awesome.
It's really, really awesome.
It's really, really, really awesome.
It is.
Just awesome. What's wrong, baby doll? What's gotten into my marshmallow?
Lily, I keep having these dreams that you're a witch and that you put a spell on me and you trap my soul inside of a bottle and you keep me there against my will. And you make me work a job in corporate America that I don't believe in. And we have way too many kids to cover up our fear of death.
Oh, that's just crazy talk. Here, give me one of your hairs. See, if I wanted to possess you, I would wrap this in a cloth and tie it with a thread of your pillowcase and bury it in an abandoned graveyard for 3 days. And, oh, but I don't do witchy things, baby cakes, honey blossom.
Huh. Whew. Sure takes a load off us beginning to think you were taking advantage of me because I'm so naive.
Oh, no one thinks you're naive.
Lily, I believe you. I really do.
Thanks for inviting me over to your new house, Mom and Dad. I mean, God and Policeman. I mean, Marshall and Lily.
Hey, Barney. You're awesome.
It's so great to be here in your new house, just outside the city, where we can have a movie night. In a location that's just a little out of the ordinary for us, but not hot at all, to imagine that these stills are a couch and so on and so forth.
Hi, my awesome buds. I just had a very promiscuous week to cover over my insecurities about my career. So, this is a nice break. It's a good thing I'm already a little drunk. Can I have a whiskey?
Hi, Robin. You're awesome.
My friends, I think I met the one. We had 90 glorious minutes together. Maybe it was even 120 minutes. But then she had to move to Chicago with her boyfriend so they could sell her old clothes online. That's when I realized life is short and love is short. And that's why Robin and I had decided to get back together.
We did not.
We will.
We won't.
Let's start the movie, guys.
When Orpheus met Eurydice, he knew that he would lose Eurydice, but he met her anyway, and he fell in love with her anyway. And that's why their first kiss was the first sad song he ever wrote. And the first time they kissed, it was in the meadow, because it's always in the meadow. And the grass that they used for a pillow was the same grass that would one day cover her grave. And that's the second sad song he ever wrote.
Oh my God, this is the story of my life. The first time we kissed was in a meadow. Well, really, it was an abandoned field by an abandoned house. She set down her date shake, and I thought, is it time to kiss her? I think it's time. And I kissed her, and I wasn't sure if she loved me, but then she took off her pants, and I knew.
Maybe she was just hot.
Taking off your pants is a sign.
It's not always a sign.
It's a sign of something, I'll tell you that.
I love you guys. You're awesome.
Oh, Barney, Marshall smoked all the sandwiches, so we don't have any more. Sorry about that.
Really? Marshall.
What can I say? It's the best way to get through a straight committed relationship.
Hello, don't mind me.
Oh, you're awesome. Who are you?
I'm a psychiatrist. I'm with the guy who just came in.
Eurydice was not stupid. She knew full well that when she was born for the grave. Eurydice also wrote songs. She keeps them in a notebook, and she writes the story of their love as it unfolds. And she writes it simply because she knows how it will end. And she knows that she'll have nothing left but the notebook. And the nuances can't be in the words, because she'll want to remember it differently every time she reads it. So all of the flourishes are in the drawings and the margins. Everything that's important to her takes place in the margins, in a secret code that only she knows how to read. Have you ever lost somebody?
Hasn't everyone?
I know this is not what you want. It's not what you expect, but it's what happened to me. It's what keeps happening to me. The spring of disguised vultures gave way to a summer where blackbirds marked our feet with chalk and coated our hands with red clay so that we would leave traces. And when I was listening to Stone,
I think we're in heaven.
lost everything when I forgot
Yeah.
to tie things to myself. But in truth, I was already too
Hey,
heavy to carry any of it.
Do you remember that
And in
guy?
the
That
morning,
guy
I
we
know
saw in
God
that
had
cave
come to me
3 days
with
ago?
three dreams
The
that
suits
would
there?
come true.
Yeah.
But the summer had to
Yeah,
wait.
I remember him.
It was not pregnant, and it was not empty.
Yeah.
But there were things
do you-
in my chest while the
do you know him?
being raised. And when I
Oh,
left the ocean, I was
wow.
involved.
No, it's not that. It's just
The fall of broken
there was
bones
this look
over
between you, and it looked to me like like you knew each other from before.
Wow.
I'm not jealous.
What most people forget, that moment, that time when you're in love, it's never as sweet in the moment as it is when you remember it. Anyone who's in love is filled with doubt and is always second-guessing themselves, because love makes us all stupid, and we're all pretty well aware, even at the time, that we're doing stupid things and forgetting to do all kinds of things that we know we should be doing, and nothing really works very well. You think about that person all the time, and you think of the things you'll say to make that person want you in the same way that you want them. But no one really ever knows anybody anyway, and no one wants in the same way. And if we knew that at the outset, then we would leave it for someone else, so they could be disappointed in our place. Have you ever lost somebody?
No, I never lose anybody. Sometimes I send them away, but I never lose them. I never get attached like that.
Have you ever lost somebody?
How did you know?
It's just a guess.
Did you hear anything?
What do you mean? About you?
Yes.
I haven't heard anything about you. Why would I hear anything about you?
Because people talk about me all the time. I'm the one that lost somebody very, very important.
You're the one?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you're not the only one that's lost somebody.
If I told you my story, you'd know that I was the real one. The real one who lost everything.
Now I'm so confused.
Well, let's just skip to the special features.
Alrighty, you
You
want a commercial?
You pointed at the thing.
This
At the
remote
thing.
sucks.
At the
Batteries.
thing, you pointed at the thing.
Yeah.
You're not.
So, Monsters of the Sea opens in Phoenix in June of this year. This has a lot of talk already, and we wanted to add to that. By now, we're lucky to be the 4th major network to cover it.
I believe you're actually the 5th.
No.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Regardless, we'll try to be the most, thorough.
Good luck. You know, it's hard to sometimes get information from, straight line.
All right then. Mr. Danowski, tell us what you might tell us then about this Monsters of the Sea.
All right then.
It sounds epic.
Oh, it is.
Good.
Please, don't be so interrupting. Now, the way we have it configured, there will be selected groups of 10 or 12 people who will be invited into my living room in June to watch the first of these productions unfold before their very eyes.
Why so small?
I'm sorry?
Oh, I was talking about the audiences.
Oh! They can be any size. We don't discriminate based on height.
Oh, I'm referring to the number.
Aha! That, yes. Well, it's intimate. It's a ritual. And there's a good chance that the spectators might be sucked into the ritual.
Like in the olden days.
If you like, yes. It's a return to the traditional forms of theater.
Wait. Now, I notice that you pronounce theater with the ending instead of the r.
You have a remarkable ear.
Oh, you really are something of a flirt.
Actually, I'm terribly innocent. This is not my intention. It happens all the time. We get into a room and things just spark up. I'm really sorry if this is at all inappropriate.
Oh no, it's really quite lovely, really. Oh, I can tell you work out. Tell us about that.
I'm on this new regimen with a specialized trainer, who's doing this work that really, the Hollywood boys haven't even gotten a hold of it yet. It's all done with refrigerators. We start by strapping a small refrigerator to my back and I run 7 miles as a warm-up. Then we start working with full-size refrigerators. We line them up and I jump up and down on top of these refrigerators about 50 times. And then the real work begins, where it's an intense workout with the refrigerators as 3 weights, 4 or 5 at a time, after which I will swim in a moat filled with live alligators. It takes about 4 or 5 hours, but it really gets the heart going.
I can't even concentrate. Can you go back to the theater with her?
Sure. That is just really, that's just the Irish spelling. It's to show that we're not doing the traditional English form of theater. It's something that, see, every art form evolves, really. They evolve over time. And this is the evolution of work I've been doing for the past 3 years or so. The evolution of theater and ritual. It's really something that the Nadaists of the 1930s brought home.
Oh, where was this?
In Buenos Aires, of course.
You should teach.
Oh, it really wouldn't go well, I'm sure. No.
You should.
The students would complain. They would complain that it's too hard to follow. Or that there are too many music videos.
Or half the work was in Spanish.
I'm sorry.
I've got twins in handcuffs, and one of them has your name all over her, although I can't tell which one. They're identical.
Thank you, Barney, but I don't think I'll be needing twins anymore, if you get my drift.
Your penis is backwards. I mean broken. I mean, your penis is broken.
Ha ha ha. No, but rather smitten. You see? I've been having dreams again, dolphin dreams about Robin, and that's why I've decided today's the day I'm going to ask her to marry me.
Oh, congratulations.
What'd I miss?
I was just congratulating Ted here on being a damn fool. You can't marry Robin, Ted. Haven't you been paying attention? She's the aunt.
Oh, Ted, what the fuck?
We were building up to it. I haven't built up to it yet. We're building up to it.
It's just a dream, Ted. A carefree dolphin dream, the kind all young men have.
If you dream of dolphins, it means you're crazy. Oh, I mean complicated.
It is a dream, yes, but it's the most fantastic dream I've ever had. There's dolphins and there's seminars about very, very interesting topics.
I hate seminars and dolphins. They rape.
Some of these seminars are optional, entirely optional.
Guys, I need your help. Marshall has been carried off by Bigfoot, and I don't think he's coming back.
Oh my God, Bigfoot! You're so awesome! I love you!
Oh my God, that's so hard to hear.
Oh, that reminds me, I had the best day. I think I met the one.
Where did you meet the lucky lady?
What place on earth is somewhere between heaven and hell?
I think Ted needs a dog.
My underwear.
I don't get it.
Ted needs a dog, so we can stop trying to replace you, even though you're right here.
Wait, Ted, I'm confused. I thought you were going to ask me to marry you again. I mean, I'd probably say no, but maybe not, Ted, maybe not. Did you ever think of that?
Ignore her. It's for your own good.
A parking lot.
A parking lot?
I met her in a parking lot.
Wait, hold on. A parking lot?
Yes!
Oh, that's terrific news. Although it's hard not to be thinking about my marshmallow.
It's okay, honey. Bigfoot is awesome.
Wait, Ted, you should ask me again. I mean, I'd probably say no, but maybe not. Maybe I'd start smoking, and I might adopt 5 dogs, and then I might move to Chicago, but I might come back. You never know, Ted.
Did you get her number?
No, but I don't have to.
I was going to say something, but that's better.
This is destiny. We'll meet again. Besides, I already have a plan on how to stalk her.
Oh, Ted. Stalking is never a sure way of meeting someone. People move, you know. They move. Or get carried off by Bigfoot. And then you're in the grates of the cracks in the sidewalk, and then you end up you know where.
Underwear.
We were marked, ultimately, permanently.
We should eat.
Not by what they left
Maybe.
us, but by what
I'll
they
go
could
get
not
something.
leave with us.
Okay.
Their hearts
Unless you wanna
began
go.
travel in this world.
No, that's okay. I
Not
trust
ready
you.
to travel
I'll go.
another. And so they
Don't get
often
bit by a snake.
persist in the
I'd
time.
hate it if you got bit by a
We were too
snake.
busy brushing
Right,
our
I'll die
teeth,
from a
sorting
snake
out
bite in the
things
middle
our
of
pockets to
paradise.
notice that the world
Do you think
was
this is
about to become a
paradise?
little bit empty. The winter came.
Unless it's a very
And
close
then
approximation.
aliens pretended. Dear Diary, today I got bit by a snake and died. Some fucking paradise.
When Eurydice goes, she knows she's going to be gone for a long time, but she doesn't know she'll be gone forever. When Eurydice gives in to the poison and feels the ecstasy of the bite, she knows that she'll be outside of herself, but she doesn't know that she'll be outside of herself forever.
Have you ever lost somebody?
I have, but I lose somebody's all the time. It's kind of how it works.
How what works?
Love. That's how love works. You meet somebody, and you jump into the river. You don't even think. You shouldn't think. You just jump into the river, and that's how it goes.
Then what happens?
Then what? You know what? You know what happened. Everyone knows what happened.
Tell me.
I don't have to tell you. That's what porn is for.
I see. That's what happens.
Exactly. And when you're lucky, it happens for a long time. Or sometimes it only happens once or twice. But it doesn't matter. It always stops eventually.
I see.
It always stops. And then you're on the banks of the river. And you're dry. And you get so very sad and lonely. And then it happens again. And then you jump in again.
And you don't think about it?
It's there to think about.
Aren't you afraid you'll get hurt?
I'm always afraid I'll get hurt. There's nothing to fear, because I know that I'll always get hurt. And I also know that it will always happen again.
To be sleeping so that we might finally have the chance to say the things we were supposed to say to each other. But when we started speaking all our animal
I'll get to see her?
No. No, you don't get to see her. That's what this all is. That's what this deal is. You go get her and bring her back. You get to have her back. But until you get her back, you don't have her back. You can't look at her until you're back. And that's when you have her back.
I don't understand.
You can't look at her.
Okay.
At all. You're with her in the underworld. You don't look at her.
Okay, I see.
Don't think about looking at her.
I won't. I miss her very much is all. I just miss her.
You miss her. You're missing everything.
Like what?
I don't know, like what? Like you could be talking to someone who knows the history of everything. A real mother of the water of the world. You could be talking to someone who knows things, who can teach you things. But instead you're thinking about her. So you don't think about asking any bigger questions.
Well, if I meet any mothers, I'll let you know.
You wouldn't recognize me if you were looking at me. Let's go down.
But that's how it is, isn't it? Every day we're met with ghosts, fantasmas verdaderas, and we're supposed to be spending time with them, but instead we brood about how we're not with the girl, even though we never really know who she really is. And we even suspect that we're not going to get her in this life, but we'll spend it pursuing her, in order to get distracted into finding what we're actually here to find. Porque también somos lo que hemos perdido.
This is the hard part. Not because it's hard to talk about now that we are no longer we, at least not we in the same place and time. It's easy to talk about now because it's like remembering, and remembering is all that I do. It's all that I have. It's been a long season and my face feels like it wants to crack open so that my other face can come out, but I'm afraid of what it looks like. I'm afraid I'll have gotten older. If I look in a mirror and see myself older, then this is a tragedy, because if I get older, then that means I've also gotten over it. And I never intended to get over this. No one should have to get over something like this.
So you miss her?
Always. I always miss her.
Do you think she misses you?
I hope so, but I don't know for sure. And it probably doesn't matter.
Why not?
Because it wouldn't change anything.
She's not coming back.
I know for sure she's not coming back.
How do you know for sure?
Because she died.
I've been feeling so gloomy lately.
Is that because you secretly know that you and I will get back together and all of this is just a big lie until then?
You're so funny and damaged, Ted. No! It's because I met this wonderful guy and he's moved to Minsk to work on a secret government program.
I think you are confused, my dear.
Oh, I think it's a different show entirely. Oh, I think a burger just came out.
Booger.
Barney, why don't you call me anymore? Are you too busy with your penis?
My penis is salty, like a sailor. I mean like Batman. I mean like Kelp.
I don't know what that even means.
I think you mean charred. Everyone in our neighborhood is eating charred.
Oh boy, and is it ever salty?
Salty charred, salty, salty.
Penis boobs and big screen TVs. There's something in my soul that's wrong. It's something like a lighthouse that recognizes things when they're very, very patriarchal. I mean, dark. Something like a light that recognizes when things are dark. And the people around me who all looked like they knew me will prove themselves to be nothing but phantoms. Phantoms who are absolutely terrified and absolutely asleep. And the world gets a little bit colder because everything that I ever wanted is not meant to be.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was sitting next to Baudelaire.
Baudelaire was one of the decadent poets who lived with his mother in Paris and whose penis rotted off when he was 50.
Guys, high five. I just remembered my penis again.
Yes. Robin would love me even if my penis rotted off. We were meant to be.
No, you weren't, Ted. Kind of weren't. Ted, listen. Sing a bro song with me.
On the winding, windy moors we roll and fall in green. You had a temper like my jealousy, too hot to grieve me. How could you leave me when I needed to possess you? I hated you, I loved you too. Bad dreams in the night told me I was going to lose the fight. Leave behind my wuthering, wuthering, wuthering icy cliff. Kiss me or candy or come home. I'm so cold. Let me into your window. Heathcliff. Kiss me or candy or come home. I'm so cold. Let me into your window.
I'm not showing anyone my boobs.
If he never returns from Minsk, I'll still wait for him and I'll grow so very, very old and then there will be nothing left of me to give, but no one will ask. Time is not ours, it's only borrowed and I'm heavy with
The weight of 100 loves who crucified me.
Yes.
My penis. My white plume.
Shit.
My jar of absinthe. And my horrible anger.
And while she is being turned into something else, forever and utterly, Orpheus is spending time wondering when she will be back. And he doesn't know that he is being turned into something else, utterly and forever. Because it's at this moment of waiting for her to come back, this moment right here, where he will be frozen in time. All dark lovers think they cannot bear it, that they cannot go on like this, that they cannot go on. But they do, for much longer than they could imagine.
We're living in the mirror before we can be born, and all the dark lovers go back to never being born.
When you lost them, did it hurt?
It really didn't. Not at first. But a month later it started to hurt.
And when did it stop hurting?
It never stops hurting.
You think you can't live without the one you lost. Except you do. And no one knows how that's even possible. But it is. That's when you enter an enchanted world. And the ones who enter it in darkness are the ones who learn how to see.
Have you always been like that? Not attached to anyone or anything?
Not always, I suppose.
When you hear about people losing people, does that ever make you sad?
I'm sorry for them, because they're missing out.
Missing out on what?
And seeing the world as a pet. A pet that does tricks.
Are these tricks just for you?
I like to think so.
Listen, I invited all of the women I ever had a crush on to come over so I could talk to them. It looks like most of them couldn't make it, so you'll have to stand in for them. Could you stand on the table?
Yeah.
I mean, it'll work. I think you're a lot of different people, so I think this will work. So first, let's start with, you're 16, I'm 16, we're in my mother's car, my mom's not in the car, and we're parked, and the police come and knocking on the windows, but we can't see because the windows are fogged up, and that night, I kind of remember wishing that night would last forever, and I have a feeling that maybe it actually did. Then there was a lot of dreams, and I woke up a few years later, and now we're married, okay? So we're married, we're living in this house in this place where the world is green and there's blackberries growing. We're there, and that place right there, I would like to freeze that one of those moments there, except the problem is I don't know how to get there. I mean, I know where it is, but I don't know the way to get there, if that makes any sense. There's a four-way stop. This is the problem. There's a four-way stop, and this is where I always get confused, because I'm not sure if I was there, if I would recognize the right turn.
It was a left turn.
God, it's a metaphor! It's a metaphor! Fuck!
All of this adds up to that, this impossibility, that you're in this impossible position here, right here, okay? And everything else around this position is possible. That's too much possible. But this impossible thing bugs me. I would like to move it into the realm of the possible so it would make more sense. What would happen here is, first, I wake up and I realize that you're not a mermaid. I know you're not a mermaid. I know that. But you look at mermaids and see the same thing I do. So we see the same thing, so there's this mutual recognition there. And if we could freeze one of those moments, then I don't think 100 camels, 100 elephants, anything could stop me from rushing at you to wake you up. So you would look at me with that same look of recognition. Because it's that look of recognition that's the most important thing in the world to me. And if you could... Okay, so maybe this has been going on for a very, very long time.
Ted, I think polyamory might be a way out of all your problems.
Hey Dad, I mean Pope, I mean Ted. Guys, I had a dream that we were all on Sábado Caliente, and there was a mermaid there that looked like Marshall. Can we please try that?
Oh, Barney, don't rebel the ombligo. Barney, that sounds terrific. Don't forget the umbrella.
Bruta, ciega, sordo-muda, porque entraste en testaruda. Estaba enloquecido, padre convertido, una cosa
to unlock my sticky hamper I mean my childhood. Look everyone, look at my friends.
No, Barney. They can't see us. Only you can see us. We're here to give you sad news. We're all dead. We all died suddenly, and it should come as a shock to you. We're all dead now.
Oh my gosh, this sucks.
This is fun, isn't it?
I pity you, Marshall, because you cannot see beyond this thin veil. None of us are really here. We are all just phantoms.
Oh, Barney. Don't let my happy-go-lucky, backward ways deceive you. I see them too. The living and the dead. They're all here. I mean, they're always mixing with each other, and in the end, there's really no difference.
What you talking about, Marshall?
Barney sees the dead, and so do I.
Well, I'm already dead because I'm Canadian.
I don't think that means anything.
Sorry, I'm out of Canadian jokes.
Don't you mean oot?
Love song for this year so far. Dear year so far. You can suck a big dog dick. These lessons you send us, we get them, and they're not very interesting. You are as thin as a skeleton, and although I find you so very lovely, you're so thin this year, and you know I like a little meat on the bone, and this is all death and disappointment.
God, Barney sure gets bummed out when a girl doesn't text him back.
She was 3, little man. She was triplets.
Triplets? Man, you're out of control.
But it didn't work out. There is no great erotic memoir. Only talk. It's all talk.
Technically, nothing really happens unless we talk about it.
Then we should only talk about excess and expenditure.
I think I'm gonna ask Lily to marry me again, for the 3rd time. Because it's so romantic and because I'm so insecure.
We are all just phantoms. Okay.
I have big news! I'm moving to Chicago!
Hey!
We always knew you had it in you!
Over here.
Thanks. Oh.
I'm over there.
Yeah, you guys.
We always knew you had it in you.
I wish it was me. Up top.
Who am I gonna have confusing erotic sex dreams about now, hon?
Oh.
So sweet, right? What's wrong, Ted?
No, nothing. It's just a rock. I obviously I would have couldn't.
Oh, I'm gonna miss you guys too. But it's my real chance to make it big in a city that isn't as big as this one.
Well, everyone gather around. Let's have a shot of some really old whiskey.
I hate whiskey.
If you haven't had this one, it's really old. It's older than Canada. What? I don't know. I was going with it. Right there.
Canada, that's local.
No sé. Otra vez.
Do you want me to do that again?
Yeah.
Oh my god. You guys are so funny. Okay.
Okay. Lisa.
Listos?
Do you know what you're doing?
I do. I'm moving to Chicago.
No, you're losing me.
I don't lose you. You don't lose me. We'll see each other again.
I do. I do lose you.
You don't know that. You don't know how this ends, Ted.
Actually, I do. I do know that we don't ever see each other again.
I don't know what you want.
Of course you don't. Okay, you need to pay attention. What if we've done this before? What if we're older than we think we are and we've lived this before?
This moment.
Yeah, this moment, but then the moment that was before that, and the moment that was before that. And what if we've been doing this for over 500 years?
500 años. Con la misma mujer. Híjole, I can answer.
When Eurydice is in the underworld, she starts to understand for the first time that we have to do things that we don't want to do, because we are called to do them. To be the one to do this thing that no one else can do, because there is an order to things. And to participate in the order means to spin in the same direction that the world spins. And there's something like grace in that. But she also understands that within the motion of the spinning, there is room for improvisation. And she's becoming something else. And we can't see any of it.
You can hear her.
I can't hear anything but my own footsteps.
Now you can hear her.
I can hear her crying.
Now you can hear her.
Is she happy? Can you see her? Can you tell me? Does she look happy?
Are you sure it'll always happen again?
I'm sure.
What if you get old?
It doesn't matter. Old people fall in love all the time. Don't you see movies?
I haven't seen a lot of movies. Not about that. Not about old people falling in love. But then again, this isn't Europe. Or Latin America. Here, everyone who falls in love is around 30.
Around 30? What about Romeo and Juliet?
No one really believes in that anymore.
And they're missing out. People fall in love all the time. And it doesn't matter if you're very young or very old. It still happens.
What if you're really old and things don't work anymore?
Then we'll just find other things to do together. There's a lot to do in this world. And there's never any chance of running out of things to do.
Okay, here. I got this text message last night. Do you see the smiley face?
Okay, look. My homegrown Midwestern horse sense is finally tuned tonight. And it says that right there is nothing more than a shucks again.
Marshall understood it better than I did. You see, 15 years ago, when we were all in high school, everyone was in love with the same girl. She was the first goth girl that Minnesota ever saw. Oh, she would leave smiley faces on all the notes to the boys and girls that wanted her.
I love this note.
I am not going to sex with you, ever.
But I'm so clumsy. It's charming.
It makes me want to spit blood.
Oh. Wow, I had no idea that she wanted to spit blood at me.
Yeah, buddy. All girls want to spit blood. And when they don't, that's magic. That's what Lily and I have.
Oh, don't brag, you son of a bitch. Look at this next one here, the 21st of October. Okay, this is the morning after I was doing voodoo spells on her hair all night. She writes, I don't know what's wrong with my head today. I'm filled with X's and O's. She wants to make out, and I missed it.
I think Lily was doing spells on me. Oh my God.
Then, the next morning, she writes this. This is at 7 o'clock in the morning. She's never up at 7 o'clock in the morning, unless she was up all night thinking about me.
Or still up from the night before doing the wah, wah, wah with a couple of strangers. What?
She writes, you and I will never wear the same clothes.
Lily likes to wear my clothes. It's like she wants to possess me, possess my very soul. Oh my God, it's like she's an incubus or a succubus. I can't really tell the difference.
Oh, succubi suck, and incubi, it's all ink. They write notes and spit blood.
Oh my God, she always loved me.
Lily has been putting spells on me. She has a doll that looks at me in her purse and she makes me do things that I wouldn't normally do, like pretend I'm not Jewish.
I understand. I understand it now. I know exactly what she wants now.
He's under a spell too. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
I need a linguist. Or a therapist. I need a speech therapist!
Have you ever decided to get someone back?
Like in revenge?
No, not revenge. To go get them. Just try to make them come back to you.
I didn't know you can do that. How do you do that?
Check it! 3 twins last night. High five! There were 5 and then there was me. 6. Oh, no thanks, I just had twins.
There were 3, then there were 6. Yeah, but one got away.
There's always one that gets away.
Oh, don't go there, Ted. Getting all shweezy-meezy.
Shweezy-meezy. I love you.
Métete las chichis.
Okay.
There's always one that gets away.
Oh, Ted, don't go there. Getting all shweezy-meezy.
Shweezy-meezy.
Shweezy and meezy. A shweezy and a 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 meezy.
Every time I love and lose, a part of me dies.
Oh, guys.
It's not funny. It's really not funny at all. I'm stuck. I can't get out of it. It's a repetition that I'm stuck in. There's nothing I can do. It keeps on repeating, and I can't stop it. There's nothing I can do.
¡Corte! ¡Ah, qué lástima, pobrecito! Compartimos la misma dolor.
No!
A shweezy and a meezy. 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 And a shweezy and a meezy. And a shweezy and a meezy. And a shweezy and a meezy. A shweezy and a meezy. And a shweezy and a meezy. A shweezy and a meezy. And a shweezy and a meezy. A shweezy and a meezy. And a shweezy and a meezy. A shweezy and a meezy. And a shweezy and a meezy.
She's here.
I know.
You can't look at her. That's the deal.
I know.
You can't look.
I won't.
You can't.
Are you her mother?
I'm everyone's mother.
You're my mother.
Here she is. Keep your head down. Don't look at me.
I won't.
It's good to see you.
It's good to hear you. I wish I could see you. I like how you look at me.
I wish you could look at me.
I can't.
I heard.
Have you ever tried to make someone come back to you?
Oh, hell no.
Mira, this is a public service message to all you privileged rich kids in the greater city area. What the hell are you doing with your lives? You talk all the time about all the things you want. You get everything handed to you all the time. And still, you have no idea how to follow your heart's desire. Listen, I can help you. I will even help you for free. You just need to learn how to follow your heart's desire. But you forgot. You forgot what it's like to feel the wind and the oceans and the rivers and the fire that comes from lightning flowing through your veins and up and down your spine and all the things your grandmothers knew. And if you think, even for a second, that just because you forgot your grandmothers, that your grandmothers have forgotten you, ay, pinche pendejas, you are wrong. Please, take a few deep breaths with me. I will begin breaking your bones like the branches of a tree. I will turn the honey in your blood to bile and open up the holes in your face so you'll remember. This is a love spell. Leave these things to me. Just count backwards. From 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My therapy started, and just watch. Pa 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 po. Pa 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 po. Hoo ha, hoo ha, hoo ha. Unique rabbit, broken badger, a snake, a snake, a snake. I think.
Have you ever tried to go back to find someone you lost?
I always try to find people I lose. Life's too short not to try.
You don't think, when it's over, it's over.
It's never over. Nothing is ever over. If we remember anything, it's not over.
What happened
When?
when you went looking?
Oh, well, I don't know yet. I'm looking right now. I'll have to let you know how it turns out.
We're all phantoms, and life is a dream, and love is impossible, but it's also very, very likely. That girl, the one I chased after, the one who became your mother, well, let's just say that some of us eventually marry ourselves, and some of us marry our opposites, who are also ourselves, and a lot of us settle for something very much in between. Of course, some of us figure it out, that the game is fixed from the very start. And we fight it until we get caught up in something else, because something else always sucks us into a bigger story. We're phantoms in a story that we don't ever really see. Being sucked. It all started off calmly enough on one wintry afternoon.
I can't. I just can't. I simply cannot. I don't like them. I really just don't like them at all.
Uh-oh. Now what rough beast slouches towards Bethlehem waiting to be born?
This home, none of it. It's just not working out for me. No matter how much porn, no matter how much excess, no matter how much I give in, I am still so very, very unfulfilled, and I wish just once that I could have the perfect threesome with a loving man. I mean Rottweiler, I mean ski slope, I mean cowboy.
Okay. Does it have to be a mother?
Yes, this isn't about me. This isn't about me at all.
That is more true than you know, Mr. What is your name?
You can call me Barney.
No, I really not. What is your name really?
Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. Cruella
heart's desire.
We are not here to find our heart's desire. We are here to plummet headlong into a terrible mess and try to talk about it and fail and miss the mark entirely.
Oh.
We think we want what we want, but we can never really know what we want. We want what we think we want, but we don't know what we want.
Because love is impossible.
Because you're stupid. But you're close.
Well, how will I know what I want? What I really, really want?
Lots and lots of practice, and contraptions, and feathers, and a mirror, and lots of expensive things.
It always has to be expensive.
Of course, look at yourself. Money is your god.
Well, my God, I mean, my money. I wish you could hang out with me and the guys.
So Marsh, the big Marsh, and I decided that we're going to have 5 kids in the next 5 years. It's our secret project to make ourselves into more of ourselves so that we can see ourselves in a geometrical progression. And so that we can lose our fear of death.
And it's gonna be so much fun trying. Delicious.
And I've decided that without being able to have children of my own, I will pursue my career recklessly above all other costs and make so much money that I'll one day forget about all the things that I could never have. But no matter what, it doesn't even matter because it's never enough.
You're up top.
And it's gonna be so much fun trying. Money is awesome. And Bigfoot.
My friends, I think I finally met the one who fits all the points on the lines of the TED map of desire.
Show me this map of desire, Mr. Ted.
Who's that?
Oh, don't mind her. Just pretend she's not here.
But she's talking.
Just pretend she's not talking.
Show me this map.
Okay, here. These lines right here represent lines of flight. Places where my fantasy images get caught up in things that she might say or do that will make me see her as the other finally and fall in love with her.
Does it have to be a she?
What do we look like, some band of outsiders? Now these points right here represent key moments in our relationship that she will have to meet in exact order, otherwise I won't give her a fighting chance. For example, up here, this is our second date, at which point she will have to take pictures of us and post them online so all of our friends can comment. Over here, this is the second time we have sex, which is not as good as the first time, and boy is it ever awkward. At this point, all of the phantoms of our past relationships will gather on the veranda to discuss. Right here, this is where she gets a little bit of cum on her ear, but that's really entirely optional.
Optional, but required.
Oh my, things my ears have seen over the years.
No more visuals, please.
I like this map of yours, Ted. It intrigues me. Right there, it looks like a little boy wetting his bed.
Good eye, Doctor. This is the first time I ever had a dream about Mary Magdalena and Jesus, where he bought her the brooch that she'd been admiring in the window for months. She thought that no one noticed, but boy, he ever noticed.
I think we should discuss this somewhere a little more comfortable.
Well, this map is easily projected onto the table, and then we can discuss on top of the table.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, right there.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, they ascend. Eurydice follows Orpheus and they ascend. And we know what happens in the story. We know how this turns out. He turns around and sees her and it's done. She goes back down and he is on Earth's surface, mourning for the rest of his life, until he is torn to bits by angry muses. That's what we already know. If she already knows that, and she must because she's participating in the story again, and we all really do know what stories we're in, if she knows, like we do, then she might understand that there's a chance that they could do something different this time around.
I have two lists. One is all the things that I wanted to tell you, all the times that I thought she should know about this.
What kinds of things are on the list?
Things that happened, things people said, and things I thought, but I didn't say out loud because only you would understand.
I have a list like that.
Good.
I never thought I'd get to tell you any of those things.
Pretty soon we can tell each other everything.
Pretty soon. What's the second list?
That one, that's a list of all the things that I never did learn how to say when I knew you. And there are lists of things that I did learn how to say since then.
Like secrets.
There's only secrets. At the end of the world and the beginning of the world, there's only secrets.
That's where we are.
That's exactly where we are.
And there's light up there and dark back there, so we can go in either direction.
Sure.
Or we can stop right here and not move anywhere.
Sure, but why would we stop right here?
I don't know. You just can't look at me. But we can stop right here. You can't look at me. And anything else that we do or say can happen right here. And maybe time will stop moving forward while we're right here. Maybe it will stop moving forward.
I'm glad we're meeting here from now on, Mr. No Name.
My life is complex. You have to see it unfold to really understand it. You have to witness it as an outsider.
But that would be impossible. Mr. Barney with no name. There is no such thing.
No, there is. You just have to be real quiet.
Hi, Barney.
No, it's impossible. I am already a guilty witness, one with plans, symptoms, and desires.
You are the most endlessly fascinating therapist I have ever known.
Flatter me, I like that.
We all have our charms.
Hey, Barney.
So I've been thinking over your case, and it's perplexing, and it's compelling, but it's also very simple. Normally I wouldn't try to put these things to words, but right here I will say, I don't think you're supposed to be with women.
But if I'm not looking to spread my seed and replicate myself in every corner, I'll disappear.
I think that would be a good idea.
I know that she doesn't get the big picture.
Hi, Barney.
I think there are many people in this world who have lost their stability, their sense of compass, and these are the most interesting kind of people in this world. When you first step outside of yourself for the first time, you really begin to see yourself.
And you know, she was right.
Who are you talking to?
It was an idea so simple, so painfully simple, and so mad that it dug at me for 7 long days and 400 nights until one day I woke up and decided to give it a go.
Who is he talking to?
But first I would have to make some big changes. Still don't know who you're talking to. Big changes are really big. Who am I to say they're small? Big changes are really big. They're not small at all. Keep on changing, yeah. Make some changes, big changes. Keep on changing, yeah. Make some changes, chase me. Keep on changing, yeah. Make some changes, big changes. Keep on changing, yeah. Make some changes.
production, Monsters of the Sea, the first part, is more or less autobiographical than your other works?
Much less, interestingly enough.
Much less interesting or much less autobiographical?
You are a vixen. Less autobiographical.
I'm a little skeptical.
Look, all work is autobiographical. I mean, even a pure visual abstract, it's all sight. It's all about the eye or the eye. Quantum physics and that whole movement. Baudrillard and the new symposium. Don't leave out the elusive jellyworm. I'm not saying anything new.
I understand this one takes on Orpheus and Eurydice.
Yes, so what?
It just seems like familiar territory is all. We've seen it before.
I suppose. That's interesting. Interesting.
How is this Eurydice different?
Aha. 3 things. First, there's video. And if you watch the whole story, you'll say to yourself, that story. And then there's television. Because everything that happens on television. Orpheus and Eurydice happen on How I Met Your Mother.
Why that show?
Because out of all of the shows on television, that relationship between Pam and Jim is the most complex today, at least in the first 3 seasons. And then she goes off to art school, and she never comes back. She never comes back. And that's it. No Hollywood ending there. It's all very, very Greek, of course, except they are not Greek, of course.
I don't think you're talking about what you think you're talking about.
That's because we're all too busy performing all the time. No one listens to anybody anymore. It's exactly like Grotowski predicted.
Is there an audience for that in Phoenix?
I think there is. I've talked to lots of people here, not necessarily Greek. And it seems like everyone is having a terrible time of it lately. It's just been an awful spring. And some real confusion lately.
About?
The usual. Everyone's getting older. Everyone is suddenly turning 46 or so, or 23 or whatever. And they're very confused.
I do detect a bit of personal history in there.
Where?
Have you ever met Eurydice?
More times than I can remember.
So this is based on that.
I suppose it has to be.
Is she someone specific then?
As specific as you and I are specific. Orpheus and Eurydice, they're always around, but they're always changing.
Is this Eurydice someone specific?
Absolutely not.
She's not the woman you ran into in the parking lot.
You heard about that?
It's a story that I can't forget. Would you please tell it so our viewers can hear it?
No. It's too personal.
Is she Eurydice?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you ever see her again?
I did. I looked at her, and when she looked at me, she arched her back and did this hair thing. That's flirty, right?
I don't know.
Okay, so she was looking at me like, and she turned and does this like, and I was like, and she was like, oh, like, and that's flirty, right?
Oh, sure. You know what? She's probably hopelessly in love with you.
Oh my God. That's so sad.
You didn't talk to her.
I didn't. I tried, but then I got distracted. There was this guy that wanted to talk to me about my motorcycle. I turned back, she was gone.
That is, without a doubt, the saddest and most beautiful story I have ever heard.
In my heart, I think I'm still 15 or 16 years old.
You sound 16.
I'm still a teenager.
I'm sure you are. Otherwise, you'd be wearing shirts with collars by now. So this play, it's really about her.
The woman in the parking lot.
Yes.
Why not? It could be about her. She could come and see it, recognize herself.
And then she could start liking your posts on Facebook. By the time you're really old, you'll be texting her, and maybe, just maybe, you'll make out once or twice before you die. So this is about someone you don't really know.
No, it's about someone I think I know. I'm making this for someone I think I know. Don't you have someone's secret in mind all the time? Someone you suspect knows all of your dark secrets and thinks they're beautiful? Someone who has been to dark places and can tell you about their dark places and wants to hear you tell your stories about your own dark places?
Yeah.
This is for them.
After I covered my body with white cloth, I wanted this to be a dream, but it actually wasn't a dream. After I covered my body with cloth, then I was soaking up the blood from these wounds with this white cloth. I was noticing that my body started doing something involuntary, and I don't try to pay attention to those things very often, but this time I did. Something told me to pay attention because my mouth was on the ground, and I noticed that I was trying to chew through the cloth that was on the ground, and I understood for the first time that I was trying to touch you with my mouth, but there was this layer of graveyard dirt in between us. And at that moment I started to think that there really are all of these ancestors all around us always, and for some reason right now they're speaking to us. The place beneath the clothes, underneath the cloth, where we're naked, we're utterly naked in the presence of these ancestors that are speaking of this original hunger, this original fire that came at the beginning of time. Except that the problem is time moves forward. We're living in these bodies that move forward in time, and they have the usual things that happen to bodies when they're going forward in time. Things like children and funerals, and appointments and obligations. But there is this other kind of time that happens at the same time moving forward. There's a circle of time where one birth follows another birth, and in this circle there really is no death, because one death always turns into another birth. And so there's all these metaphors about birth, that we're always hearing metaphors for birth, but I think we might be mistaken that actually the original metaphor actually is birth. That birth is a metaphor for something else that we don't understand. And we have no chance really of ever understanding what the metaphor is. But the only way that we think we can find out is through acts of being born.
I don't know if you'll get this. I'm sending this from far away. You left your phone. It's about to die, and there's no charger. So I want to make sure that this is important. Like, I don't want to waste any time. Because we always waste so much time, and everything turns out to be so much shorter than we could ever imagine. You found me. That's important. I found you. And I learned here that everything we do can be repeated. Goddesses come to Earth, and goddesses die, and goddesses can come back. So keep these two things in mind. One, if you keep repeating, then you are no longer in time. You're in a ritual, and you are making a ritual out of something that happened, but it's no longer something that happens. Two, they have no better choice but to keep repeating, because really, nothing ever happens, really. Everything is a repetition, really. Everything. I miss you. And I will repeat. I miss you. And I will repeat. I miss you. And I will repeat.
Stop twitching.
I can't help it.
My God, this is impossible.
If this keeps going on, I will go mad.
We need a nurse to distract us.
Nothing can distract me from the grief that has me in its teeth.
Oh, Ted, that's really sweet. You must miss her, huh? Even though she's right here, she never really left. Because she's always been by our side.
Yeah, she's by our side smelling up our bed. Can I get a high five?
Good morning, my friends. Good morning. What a wonderful, clear day it is. The sky as pure as the eyes of a baby dolphin. It was a good fight. Your friend, Rhonda?
Robin.
It was a good fight. A brave fight. She fought, and it was glorious.
But she died.
I'm telling you right now, sweetie, that kind of thinking isn't going to get us anywhere. We need positive thinking right now. That's the secret to all of this. Positive thinking.
But she is dead.
The word is not even in my vocabulary, sir. 3 words not in my vocabulary. Death, communism, subversion, and literature.
What about nose?
Nose, I know. I could talk about nose for hours and hours. And I do. Now, what questions do you have for me?
There are no questions, there is only death.
That word is not even in my vocabulary. I don't know.
I have a question.
Tell it to me, sweetie. Spell it out.
Can you make his leg stop twitching?
Ooh, can you cut it off, maybe?
Don't cut it off, please.
That would cost extra. You don't have that kind of money.
We do, though. We actually have a lot of unexplained disposable income. And I would be happy to use my hooker money to help pay for the operation.
We'll talk, sir. But first, the patient at hand, your friend Rachel.
Robin.
She is, I'm afraid, without the use of her hands. But everything else is going to plan. My greatest hopes. And to that, I say, fuck yes. 2 words in my vocabulary. Fuck and yes. Together, they make fuck yes.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
I think he's a she.
I think gender is a performance, little lady, contingent on social relations. Unfortunately, that does not come into play here because nobody can know me. Because I am elusive, like the jellyworm.
How can you say everything's going according to plan? She's dead.
Don't make me tickle you utterly with my blady instruments.
Ooh, like a speculum?
I don't speculate. I am man or woman of rock-hard, veiny science.
I like him. Smart like a whip.
You make me glow, sir. You understand me.
So what's the prognosis, doctor?
We'll have options, and all of the options will be positive because we have them.
What are the options?
We'll get to those when we get through this.
But she really is dead.
Not on my watch.
There's no pulse and no breath.
You have to think positive.
How?
That's not up to me, sir. That's up to you and the philosophy you uphold. And it better be a strong one. Not one befuddled by your little scholarly tricks of logic. You need a strong God to get through this one. And when you do, you'll remember the name, Dr. Vodka.
You make me want to sell real estate to all my rich friends.
That's the spirit, lad. That's the spirit that makes us great. Now I've examined her, and everything is going according to plan.
And don't forget, Doctor, we have love, and that's all we really need.
I like my love with a pair of rubber high-heeled shoes.
Oh,
Easy to clean.
Let's sing.
Oh. Okay. Oh.
Ow, 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 ow.
I could feel at the time there was no way of knowing.
try to bring back someone you lost?
Of course.
What if it was certain that they were lost forever? Would you still try?
I can't imagine a situation where it's certain that it's forever.
You can't.
Not as long as you're both still alive.
But if one of you dies,
Aha, that's another story.
then it's really over.
No, it's not. It's not over. It's just another story. It's one of my favorite stories.
So you believe in hopeless, helpless, eternal love.
You forgot ridiculous. And yes, I do. But you need to include ridiculous because it's all ridiculous.
Did it ever work? Did you ever find someone you lost?
Constantly. We always meet again and again.
What happens when you meet again?
Sometimes it's more ridiculous than other times. Sometimes you meet again and you both think there might be a spark still there. And you find out there's not. Other times you find out that there is a spark and it doesn't last very long that time around. It's very short and kind of sweet, and then it's kind of sad. But the worst is when the spark is there, but you're both with someone new or something permanent. And that's bad because there's nothing you can do.
That sounds hard.
It is. But it's also my favorite.
Why is that your favorite?
Because you're the most helpless. You're utterly upside down. You're hanging upside down. And that's when you're the most vulnerable. And that's when you find out that love isn't about being together. It's about something else.
What?
What?
What's something else?
I have no idea, really. No one knows, really. But it's why we're here. We really have no idea why we're here. The things we think we know, we don't really know. The reasons we think we're doing things. Chasing after this or that, or falling in or out of love, it's really not the reason. We don't really know the reason. It's always much bigger than we suspect. And we're closest to that thing when we're stuck, hanging upside down, full of longing and love for something we can't have, when we are doing what we were born to do.
And we'll never know why.
Why do we need to know why? I don't even think it would matter if we did know why. We're designed to fall in love again and again, and get hurt, and do it again, and it doesn't matter why. Now that the dead are interred into the ground, now that the bodies are starting to decay, now that the weight of the memory is heavy on the living, and the dirt is heavy and cold on the dead, now that we are mortal, now that we are heavy with the guilt of having survived, now that we know that this is more fragile than we were led to believe, now that we know that the line between us is so very thin but absolute. Now that we are one day older than we were yesterday. Now that we are bridges. Our faces are bridges between the last generation and the next. Our bodies are carriages between one place and another. Our eyes are bridges between yesterday and tomorrow. Now that we are not yet old, but absolutely older. Now that we miss you. Now that we love you. Now that the lovers yesterday are coming back. Now that tomorrow's lovers are already leaving their shoes at the foot of our bed. Now that we are more tired than we could have imagined. Now that our eyes twitch even though we know you won't come back. Now that our hands shake even though we know we won't be touching your body tonight. Now that we are stronger than we would have guessed. Now that we are falling in love with being alive in these frail mortal bodies. Now that we know that we are broken and will never be whole and don't want to be whole. Now that we are already haunted by the ghosts of the years dead and the year is far from over. Now that we are walking thin lines. Now that we are the things that make the rude noises of this world and make it impossible to sleep through the night. Now that we are the night. Now that we are the lines between the night and the morning. Now the lines between the night and the morning are written on our stomachs by tomorrow's lovers. Now that we are already just a memory. Now that we are living inside a memory that we can't get our heads around. Now that our hearts are drowning in the memory from which we don't wake up. Now that we know that we're sleeping. We are sleeping, and we are night, and we are memory, and we are ghosts, and we are falling in love with living in these bodies. Now we are falling in love with bodies. Now the weight of bodies on the earth are falling in love with us now. We are closing the gates on the winter. Now we are the gates between the winter and the spring.